Stocks our strategists feel are poised to deliver positive returns are featured now in their top stock picks of the week.
Welcome to another edition of Zacks Top Stock Picks. My name is Brian Boland. I am the aggressive growth stock strategist here at Zacks, and I've got a top stock pick for you today. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? It is SM Energy. Now, SM Energy is the name. SM is the ticker. It's a Zacks rank number one that makes it a strong buy. It's got an A for value and a B for growth. This is an oil name with a $5.36 billion market cap. Also pays a small dividend of 72 cents or 1.54% on the yield. So I'm bullish on the oil names. Let's just jump into the numbers that we always look at when I do any of my aggressive growth videos. Are you beating the number? And the company definitely is. You can see earnings are bouncing around, though, in absolute terms, going from 128 to 173, back down to 156, and then 141. But on the whole, they are beating the number, and that's what we want to see. Our estimates looking up. So little, shift of a penny here, $1.61 to $1.60. That's not the right way, but then $1.79 to $1.89. That's a big 10-cent move from next year. For the full year, $6.49 up to $7.30. And next year going from $7.10 to $8.89. Those are good annual net numbers right there. We're going to cheat up here on this, and I'm going to take a look at the growth on sales. 20% top line growth this year, 22% next year. So we have a revenue acceleration. Love to see that. Let's take a look at our valuation, and this should really excite some of the value players here. We got a 6.4 earnings multiple, 1.45 times book. Slight revenue contraction in the most recent quarters. That's kind of what held down the multiples there. As we look at the operating margins, they're fairly consistent. They're in the 29% range. So you want to see those lift a little bit higher, and I think we get a dramatic shift in your price to earnings multiple. Now, we look at the chart. It's a little bit noisy here. So I like to start things off. We're all going to die in the pandemic. Things go up. We have the tech wreck of 2022, but this stock did not, because it's an energy name. Questionable 2023, but things have been moving steadily higher here. So that's my average flow for the stock. Now, earnings estimates have been, especially in this first few months of the year, they've been well below where the stock has been. So we had a little bit of a movement down and then a nice movement up by earnings estimates. So I think that, the stock has reached the bottom end of the earnings estimates trend line. And as estimates continue to move higher, now I think we'll start to see the stock move a lot higher. So SM Energy, now I'm picking this as my top stock pick of the week because of all the talk around drill baby drill, and we're looking to drill more oil, get some regulations off of these energy producers, and become an energy independent country once again. Well, that's it for me. Now I'm going to hand it over to Ben Rains, who has a very exciting pick in the technology sector.
Thanks, Brian. Hello, everybody. I'm Ben Rains, and this is my top stock pick of the week. And today I'm looking at Micron Technology, which trades in the ticker MU. The memory chip powerhouse has blossomed into an AI stock. Shares are up about 75% in the past 12 months to more than double the tech sector. But its recent pullback has Micron trading around 25% below its June records, as Wall Street took profits after it got a little bit overheated. So let's dive into a little bit of why Micron's my top stock pick, and then we'll kind of look at some charts and some growth outlooks before we close this out. So Micron is one of the largest makers of memory chips in the world. Its chips are used in PCs, smartphones, and other devices, and it's growing through its expansion within places such as EVs, data centers, and most importantly of all, artificial intelligence. Micron has predicted that AI will drive record demand for memory chips. It crushed our Q3 FY 2024 earnings estimates in late June, with sales up 17% sequentially, driven by, quote, robust AI demand. And its CEO also said that Micron is excited about the expanding AI-driven opportunities ahead and are well-positioned to deliver a substantial revenue record in fiscal 2025. So let's go ahead and dive into that growth outlook in a little bit more over at Zacks.com and then our ZRS system. All right, so you can see now we're on our Zacks.com page, the ticker page for Micron. You can see overall it's a Zacks rank number 2 buy at the moment. And let's go take a look at some detailed estimates for what to expect from Micron in terms of its revenue and earnings growth. Its yield's pretty small at the moment, just 0.4%, but a nice bonus for a company that's huge growth stock. So on the top line, we're calling for 60% revenue growth this year, which is a little bit deceiving since if we look in a bit, we'll see that it's coming against a cyclical down year in 2023, and then another 55% growth next year. So this is what their CEO was talking about to get all the way up to a record 38 billion, nearly 39 billion. And then on the bottom line, we're calling it to swing from an adjusted loss of $4.45 per share all the way up to $1.16 per share, and then skyrocket 700% next year, all the way up to $9.32 per share. We can see overall that its earnings estimate revisions are trending heavily in the right direction, which is a solid sign. So let's go and then look at this. So as I said, the company, the memory chip business is cyclically historically very cyclical. So last year they did their revenue fell 50%, and now we're calling for them to do 60% growth and then finally get way above to a new all-time high. We're, as I said, 39, and the previous high was 30, roughly 30 back in 2022. So that's really impressive growth. And then on the top line, or bottom line, really impressive growth as well. And now we can take a look at a little bit of the performance of Micron. As I said, stocks up big over the last year, but a recent pullback has it sitting at a nice possible entry point. So over the last year, we can see the stock's up about 75%, really easily crushing the broader Zacks tech sector. And then if we look year to date, we can see that the stock is now up about 35% in that big pullback from those highs. And then I'll go to a technical chart in a bit. But then if we zoom out for the last 10 years, we can see that this little bit of a pullback has prevented Micron from roughly matching tech. So right until there, they were roughly neck and neck. But now Micron's recent pullback, even though tech's pulling back as well, sets up a nice possible buying opportunity. So let's go ahead and take a look at some technical points for Micron. So we can see it finally fell back below that 21-week moving average, which is a line it got just a little bit overheated from. So it was always going to pull back to one of these longer dated trend lines. So the 21-week is now, it's below there. We're seeing a little bit of buying on Monday morning as I record this, but it also fell from overbought RSI levels to below neutral, which is a solid sign. So if you're a longer term investor, you don't need to try to play the exact market timing game. So this little pullback could be a useful time to think about entering Micron. We can see now that it's already well below the 50-day, and then we can put in the 21-day. So we can put in the 200-day here as well. You can see that some buyers are stepping in before it makes its way down. It's now trading at its most oversold RSI levels. Let's go over the last couple of years and see. So yeah, we're now at some of the most oversold levels it's been in the last 3 years, which is a solid sign. And then if we look at some valuation levels here as well, we'll go to forward 12-month earnings. And the chart's going to look a little goofy because they had those down years where they had negative earnings. So now we're back to trading at 14.5 times forward 12-month earnings, which is a huge discount to the broader tech sector, even though Micron has crushed that tech sector this year. So that's as I said, a really positive sign. So overall, its valuations is improving, and we'll just look at this chart one more time to give a sense that now over the last 3 years, it's trading at this is the line we can look at, this trend line right here. It's trading at some of its most oversold levels, where it doesn't stay at these bottoms very long, chops around a bunch. So we could see maybe some buyers step in. As I said, it's now trading 25% below its recent highs after this massive pullback after it got just a little overextended. So on top of all of that we just looked at, Micron boasts a really strong balance sheet. It pays a dividend, and 24 of the 27 brokerage recommendations that Zacks has are coming in at strong buys. On top of all that, Micron's trading 40% below its average Zacks price target. So Micron overall looks like a really solid near-term and long-term investment opportunity. So that does it for me in this episode of Top Stock Picks here at Zacks. Make sure to check out our Zacks.com/promo page for a look at some of our services, portfolios, and more.